Hey everyone, it's the DAC coming at you with a big FAQ that just hit from Games Workshop that changes Space Marine specifically a whole lot, so we're going to jump right into that. First thing, and probably the biggest change across the board for Space Marines, is the change to combat doctrines. Now this is important. Previously, you had the option to switch your doctrine according to pretty much whenever you wanted to, aside from the first turn. So on turn 1, you always start in Devastator Doctrine, but you had the option after that to switch to Tactical or stay in Devastator, so on and so forth. Now they are locked into the game turns. During the first turn, you are still in Devastator Doctrine, but on turn 2, you have to switch to Tactical Doctrine. Turn 3, you can stay in Tactical Doctrine or switch to Assault Doctrine, but by turn 4, you have to switch to Assault Doctrine. This is huge because it's going to vastly change how pretty much everybody builds their Space Marine armies, because you can no longer just camp out in the doctrine of your choice. You actually have to start building around combined arms. So this is the biggest change I've seen come to the Codex as far as FAQs go, and it's going to change a lot of tournament lists, specifically for Iron Hands, and to a degree I'd say Imperial Fists as well, and so a huge change there. In addition, they are removing the adaptive strategy stratagem. Previously, what this let you do is when you moved forward in the combat doctrines, you could spend command points for the stratagem and effectively kind of jump back to a doctrine. This has been removed entirely. It's no longer an option. So you are locked in for those turns and those doctrines. So this is really important to know. But that's not the only change. Another big change comes in the form of some of the other stratagems that have been altered or tweaked to compensate for some pretty gnarly combos that were being used in competitive play. Particularly a big one for Iron Hand players will be Duty Eternal. Previously what this did is it just pretty much like halved incoming damage to your dreadnoughts, and it created the situation where they were becoming pretty difficult to kill. Now what it does is it simply reduces the damage of incoming attacks by 1 to a minimum of 1. So while it does effectively half damage 2 attacks, this will only drop them down a point if it's something more severe like damage 3 or damage 6. So this is still a nice stratagem, but no longer the absolute craziness it once was. In addition, the Cogitated martyrdom has also been changed. This is mainly due to the fact that Iron Hands were bringing a lot of Dreadnought characters or upgrading Leviathan Dreadnoughts to characters, and this stratagem was effectively letting people turn nearby units into shield drones where you could roll a dice for any damage they took and pass the wounds off to a nearby squad. This has been radically altered, and it specifically says that it can no longer be used on vehicle characters. So while this still can be used on your Chapter Master or Pharaohs or any other infantry character, it can no longer be used on your character dreadnoughts. But that's not all. Raven Guard have also seen a pretty significant change to one of their warlord traits, that's Master of Ambush. Previously, you could just pretty much take any infantry unit, and what people were doing were bringing full squads of Assault Centurions that would appear like right in your enemy's face turn 1. Well, they have FAQ'd and tweaked it to where it specifically says it does not work on Centurion models. That's a pretty big change. Raven Guard definitely took a hit here. Fortunately, there is a small workaround. Just take aggressors instead. So overall, I would say a lot of these changes are, I would say, in the positive category for pretty much everybody else in 40K. It's going to definitely alter how you build your lists, and it's going to, I'd say, open up options for other armies to be in a competitive space along with Space Marines, as opposed to Space Marines simply dominating all competitive events. But that's going to wrap up the changes. Let us know what you think about this in the comment section below. If you're not a member, you should consider becoming a member, because we've been working on tactics audios for a ton of armies for 40K. In fact, we're going to have some new and updated ones for Space Marines coming out soon, so if you're not a member, become a member and check it out. This is the DAC, and I'm out.